Ba 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 ba. Hello? Cool, my mic is working. Let me. Okay. Close this, close that, close that. Alright. I said yesterday that I would be here, and I'm here. 8:53, 7 minutes early. I'll try to stream for like 2 hours today. I got content planned tomorrow, which involves a punishment wheel, but I need to make that first. So today, I thought it would be nice if I could just sit here and react to some videos by Vice about Korea and all of its beauty and problems. I got like a few of these videos here. I don't know why the screen is so dark. Why is the screen so dark? Oh wait, hang on. Is it because I turned on HDR mode? I feel like that's why. Yeah, much better. Okay. I'm glad I didn't ignore that. Cool. We're just gonna go through maybe like a couple videos. Well, we'll see how long it goes, depending on how my commentary goes. We can start with this one. Hopefully the audio is okay.
And a woman named Heather Cho, Korean Air's vice president for cabin service, and wait for it, daughter of the airline's chairman, Ms. Cho forced the plane to return to the gate where she had the head of the cabin crew kicked off. She was served macadamia nuts in a bag instead of on a plate.
Okay, so the first thing I want to make clear is that one, I already know this story happened, but two, he wasn't kicked off as if he was off the plane. He was fired. Just keep that in mind.
And after the story sparked outrage throughout South Korea and much of the world, she resigned some of her duties, though she's apparently keeping her title at Korean Air.
우리나라가 어느 순간부터 보면 결국은 재벌들이 장악한 재벌 왕국으로 완전.
So, 재벌, you see right here? Oh, right here. This word right here. 재벌. This basically is a Korean word that describes the crazy rich people. I'm talking about the 1% of the 1% of the 1%. I'm talking about like the CEOs of Samsung or the CEOs of KakaoTalk. KakaoTalk is like, it is the main communication app for people in Korea. China has WeChat, Korea has KakaoTalk. I'm talking about those people, the billionaires of Korea. Those people are considered chaebol. And I'm not even sure if millionaires count, but I wouldn't be surprised if millionaires didn't make the cut. Because these billionaires have so much control over the country. Because I think the billionaires in Korea, I think they control almost half of Korea's wealth. It's not even the government, it's just these rich people just walking around.
결국은 재벌들이 장악한 재벌 왕국으로 완전히 바뀌어버려요.
대규모 기업 집단, 즉 국가 경제에서 차지하는 비중이 아주 큰
Okay.
기업 집단이고, 그리고 이 대규모 기업 집단이 특정 가문에 의해서 지배될 때.
Exactly. That's why I said the CEOs of like Samsung and KakaoTalk. It's all companies. It's all businesses. And they all reside in one family.
사실상 지배될 때 재벌이다 이렇게 부릅니다.
우리랑은 전혀 다른 세계의 사람들이에요. 저 가문에서 태어나지 않는 이상 올라갈 수 없어요.
재벌은
So, it was very brief. Did you catch that? Long history of light sentences. Korea's justice system is really, really skewed. And I know this because if I were to search up, I think it was South Korea light sentencing K-pop star. Yeah, it was this one. So K-pop star Seungri, right? Big Bang, Taeyong, right? This crazy, super popular group, Big Bang. Back in the day, I'm thinking like 2003, 2004. These crazy groups. Seungri was one of the members and one of Taeyong's best friends. He was caught messaging people on Kakao, right? And he was selling girls. He was like trading these girls in like a prostitution ring. It says prostitution case up here, but really it was a prostitution ring. They would buy girls, they would trade girls, and they had this deal going on where I remember they would say stuff like, hey, listen, if you can hook me up with this kind of girl, I'll do a favor for you in this industry. Maybe I can get your song higher up on the charts. Maybe I can help you meet this producer, or maybe I can have somebody ghostwrite your lyrics. That's the type of favoritism that happens in these big companies. Because like the guy said like before, right? Like a couple seconds ago, these people, like the crazy rich kids of Korea, they will never experience what it's like to be like everyone else, because one, they don't want to be like anyone else. They want to be special. Because when you're special and you're crazy rich, you can do something as serious as like a prostitution case and you only get 3 years. 3 years is a long time, but it's not nearly long enough when you do something like this, especially in a country like Korea where it's super conservative. You would think that it would be like 30 years, but it's just 3. Why? And it is because he is famous and rich. He has a public image, and Korea is still trying to preserve that image to the rest of the world, and they're not the only country that does this.
재벌은 무소불위의 권력을 가지고 있다. 누구도 자기를 건드릴 수 없다 하는 인식들이 널리 지금 보편적으로 자리 잡아 버린 거예요.
That means taxi.
특별하게 뭐 가진 것도 없고 그래서 이 한 5살 이때서부터 택시 운전을 하다가 그다음에 유미 엄마하고 결혼해갖고 그 유미를 낳게 되었어요. 이제 아이 아빠가 되었다는 자부심이 아주 강하게 가져져서 엄청 좋아했습니다. 내가 우리 집 형편이 그때 아주 좋지를 않아서 이 택시 운전을 하니까는 돈벌이도 많이 하는 편이 아니라서 이 사는 대학교는 갈 형편이 안 되고 그 무렵에 삼성에.
Okay, so that's a very interesting thing. I personally didn't realize that in Korea how many people are just straight up not able to go to school. I'm not experienced when it comes to like the Korean version of FAFSA or like the Pell Grant. I'm not even sure if the Korean version of these American things of like financial aid exist. But surprisingly, when I was looking at this topic before stream, this is actually very, very common. Because if you look at Korea, their transportation system is cracked. Buses, taxis, subways everywhere. So even in America, right? Like let's say California, in your mind, you're like, oh, it's normal. Everybody has a car. And sure, you might consider it a luxury. You could. but it's not nearly as much of a luxury as people in Korea consider it to be. Think about it like, if you don't want to think about Korea, think about New York. New York's transportation system is also really good. But to own a car over there is also very expensive. So I'm going to tell you, when you look at Korea, I just want you to take that New York example and then make it, I would say, maybe like 5 times harder. Why? Because in Korea, they have the chaebols, right? And because these people have so much power over all of Korea, I wouldn't be surprised if they also control the car making industry and they could also influence their prices in a way where they would be able to make a lot of money off of it. So it's way more difficult for a single person to be able to make enough money, save enough money, and then lease a car for God knows how many years. So even though this story is sad, and I do feel bad for the family, I'm not really surprised at all.
그래서 그 학교로다가 이 공부 잘하는 말 잘 듣는 애들을 이 보내달라고 하는 그런 이 부탁이 왔었던 것 같았어요. 그때 당시에 그 유미도 거기에 신청을 해갖고 취업을 해가지고 자기가 돈을 벌어서 자기가 결혼할 적에 돈 들어가는 비용, 또 그 유미 밑에는 그 남자 동생이 하나 있었는데 자기가 돈을 벌어갖고 자기 남자 동생 대학교 가는 그 자금도 보태겠다고 얘기를 하면서 간 것이 삼성.
I think we can all assume we know where this is going, with him like reminiscing over the pictures of her. But the thing that this guy said, and she wanted to help pay for her younger brother's university tuition. Korea, from when I visited, the small businesses like the cafes, the small restaurants, they're all family owned. And that's the thing that I really noticed about Korea. And I'm not saying this is exclusive to Korea or Asia. It's all over the world, of family owned businesses and like family kinship. It's like really, really tight. In Korea, from what I've seen, it is very, very intimate. If the parents end up building this business and it becomes successful, I would not be surprised at all, and you shouldn't be either, that they would have their kids run that business later. Why? Because it's profitable, it's part of the family tradition, and it's going to help create this legacy that can hopefully or eventually flourish into a big business. And if you have your kids helping you from the kitchen since they were 5 years old, it's only natural for that to happen. I know that this happens in America, but that message and that idea is way more prevalent in Korea because it is so hard for people to make money individually. So they band together into families and make money together that way. And their main goal is to build up that money. In America, it's a bit different because in America, these family businesses, from what I understand, is that American mom and dads encourage their kids to be in a family business because it is a safe route, whereas in Korea, it is a necessary one. If you're not rich.
얘기를 하면서 간 것이 삼성이었습니다. 삼성은 우리나라 대기업이기도 하고 월급도 상당히 많이 준다고 얘기를 했고 또 이 복지 시설도 잘 돼 있기 때문에 사람들이 유미가 삼성에 취업됐다고 하니까 다른 사람도 축하해 준다고 너무 좋아하는 말씀들을 다른 친구분들도 너무 많이 해 주셔가지고 저는 상당히 유미가 이 반도체 공장에 취업을 가지고 자랑스럽게 생각을 했었습니다.
For those who are shaping the future by reinventing the present. It is my pleasure to introduce the Galaxy Note 10.
삼성의 브랜드 가치가 세계 2위를 유지한 것으로 나타났습니다. 돈으로 따지면 90조 원의
Whoa.
2위를
Second place globally. What's the first one? Amazon? Brand company brand value rankings. Apple. When was this documentary made? It was made this year. Where's the list? Where is Samsung? Samsung is rank 8. Oh, that's interesting. They're not ranked by money. So it's just pure name. Everybody uses Google. And I think... Oh, this is a clout tier list. That's why Apple's at the top. That brings up another thing. And I think this is very interesting. So, recently, I had family come over to visit America, and we showed them around America, like amusement parks, tourist attractions, stuff like that. And I loved my cousin a lot, and I was like, you know what? She has a Samsung, and she told me, oh, I'm kind of sad because all of my friends all have iPhones, and we can do and they can do things together because they have iPhones. Like the connectivity is really good, but I can't do that because I have a Samsung. I saw her phone. It is a Samsung, but it's not like a Galaxy or like a Note or like the flip phones. This is like a junk phone. I had no idea what that phone was. I thought that phone looked like something out of like 2005. It was just a brick with like 3 lenses on it. I didn't recognize that phone at all. But I was like, you know what? I would be totally willing to buy her an iPhone. And I looked at the Korean website for iPhones because in Korea, the outlets are different. They're not vertical ones, they're circular ones. It's still a 2-pronged plug, but the ends are not vertical, they're circular. So when I had to go to Korea, I need to buy an adapter so I can charge my stuff. So I was looking at the Korean website, and I noticed for a standard iPhone, right, like 125 or 126, it's $900 in America. But in Korea, if you translate the Korean price to American dollars, it is almost $300 more expensive. And beyond the fact, because this is the obvious one, that like beyond the fact that it was, of course, exchange rates, I looked at it and I looked at the price and I was like, there has to be more to this, because I got curious. And then I realized American brands in Asia are 10 times more clout-worthy than America. How do I explain this? It's like I went to college at UCLA, right? And UCLA might be seen as like a rich school, but even though USC is like just like down there below us, location-wise. But I noticed that this was during the time when the AirPods Max came out. And I noticed there weren't a lot of students wearing them, but the kids that did have them on, they were dripped the fuck out. I don't care. Okay, pay attention. I don't care if you wear your designer brands every day. What I notice is if you wear your designer brands with the tag on. Because Melrose is only like a couple minutes drive from UCLA, which signals to me that you bought the shirt and you didn't even care enough to remove the tag, because I'm going to assume that you can show it off being like, hey, this is a fresh shirt, fresh from the store, still smells like the store. I just bought it. You didn't. Fuck you. I'm rich, right? In Korea, that is probably reflective of the exchange rates, because like Apple Korea makes more money that way, and whoever is able to buy that is seen as somebody who has a lot of money. And who owns that money? The chaebols themselves or the kids of those families. Why? Because a $700 pair of headphones in Korean dollars for AirPods Max is like pennies to them. For average people like you and me, $700 in Korea or anywhere in the world for that matter is really expensive. It's already expensive in America where these cost $550. But if you want to pay $200 just because it's Apple in Korea, now that is crazy.
유지한 것으로 나타났습니다. 돈으로 따지면 90조 원에 육박하는데요.
삼성은 자랑스러운 우리나라 기업입니다. 세계 무대에서 애플과 또는 일본 회사들과 또는 중국 회사들과 당당히 경쟁해서 이겨내는 자부감을 느끼는 회사고.
As you should be. It's good to be proud of your country's achievements.
예를 들어 반도체에서는 사실상 이제 세계적으로도 거의 뭐 탑 수준에 와 있고 굉장히 많이 이제 대한민국이 알려지는 역할도 했잖아요.
전자, 금융, 뭐 호텔 사업도 하고 물산, 건설 뭐 너무 다양하게 많기 때문에 영향력이 큰 건 너무나도 당연한 것 같고요. 뭐 일단 삼성을 생각해 보면 삼성의 계열사가 벌어들이는 매출이 그러니까 한국의 GDP의 20% 정도 된다라는 얘기가
Jesus.
만약 내 뭐 조카가 아들이 삼성전자 입사한다고 하면 자랑스러워하는 자부감을 느끼게 만들어준 회사고.
저는 성황대학교에 재학 중인 3학년 심영호입니다. 현재 취업을 준비하고 있습니다.
삼성, 현대, SK 3개 정도 수능 때도 서울대, 고대, 연대 그랬다면 지금도
CSAT is basically
삼성,
SAT.
현대, SK 옆에서 봐도 공부하고 있고 옆을 또 보면 공부하고 있고 내 앞에도 공부하고 뒤에도 공부하고 대기업에 가고 싶다는 선택지인 거죠. 그 외는 전혀 없어요. 왜냐하면 우선 임금 격차가 많이 납니다. 거의 2배 가까이 나고.
Hang on, I wasn't looking.
인 거죠. 그 외는 전혀 없어요. 왜냐하면 우선 임금 격차가 많이 납니다. 거의 2배 가까이 나고.
I don't blame you. Samsung, Hyundai, SK. These billion-dollar companies, the pay grade is double because they can afford it. So, like, of course. I don't know why this guy's talking so softly, like he's like depressed, but that's besides the point. But like, the pay grade is really similar to America's pay grade, kind of like the public versus private sector, especially in law. You become a lawyer in America in the public sector, you're making like 60K. In the private sector, for these big companies, you're making 250K. That's triple. That is a lot. And I wouldn't blame you people if you guys really want to get into those companies. But remember, there's a reason why these companies pay you that much. They expect you to work in and out of the office. So you got to choose work-life balance versus how much money you earn. And keep this in mind. If, you know, there's no point in making a lot of money if it means that you sacrifice your health to not be able to spend that money. You can't spend money if you're in a hospital being sick all the time. You can't spend money if you can't go outside and shop. Okay?
지 같은 경우도 차이가 많이 나고 사실 그런 것보다도 시선인 것 같아요. 주변에서의 시선. 대기업을 못 가면 실패한 인생. 제 주변에 중소기업을 가겠어 라고 해서 간 경우는 없고 보통 대기업에 도전해서 실패하면 소리 소문 없이 가 있는 경우는 많이 봤습니다. 근데 연락은 안 돼요.
그냥 일단은 보통 이제 입사가 그렇게 쉬운 일만은 아니거든요. 한국에서는 그 다른 국가, 미국이나 유럽이랑 다르게 수시 채용하는 게 아니라 기간을 정해놓고 1년에 뭐 한 번 내지는 2번 계열사에서 채용을 동시에 진행해요.
This is a common practice in Asia. There is a video made by a Japanese, not a Japanese YouTuber, but by a guy who lives in Japan. Let me see if I can find it. He made a video about this guy, right? And I want to say, this was when he was having lunch.
Masa, do you always eat? So,
で見るともう
that's a term. Looks like they have a
Little bit ahead.
time. Apparently, the trucks vary each, which means a coworker who started working at the company at the same time. In fact, it's common for many Japanese companies to do mass hiring once a year for college graduates.
See, this is a common practice. Even though we're talking about Korea, okay, this can essentially be applied to other Asian countries. The big three being China, Japan, and Korea. And you know what I heard about Japan and recruitments? It is in a public setting, kind of like K-pop voice crack, K-pop auditions, where you have to sing and dance in front of not only the judges, but also in front of the other people who want to audition. That is scary. But in China, it's a single file line, and there's a recruiter at the table. They will look at your resume, and if they don't like you, they won't say anything to you. There's a trash can right next to them, and guess where your resume goes? Straight into the dump. And they expect you to receive the message and fuck off. And they don't feel bad about it. Why? Because time is money. These big companies don't have time to waste interviewing every single person. If they're not impressed on the spot, you're done. Now you might be wondering, well, how is that different from America? Well, America doesn't require you to be beautiful. Because in Asia, image is really, really important. The image of a company, the image of their employees, the individual appearances of their employees. I'd like to think that in America, as long as you show good performance, you will get hired. But in Asia and in Korea, because we're talking about this specifically, no. That is nowhere good enough. You gotta be the top of your class. Rank 1 or 2. And you gotta be beautiful. It's harder for women because women need to be pale. They need to have glass skin, which is a Korean term for flawless skin. No moles, no birthmarks. Pale, smooth, transparent. Almost to the point where it's like glass. Hence, glass skin. For guys, you can be a bit tan because Korean society sees that tan men are muscular, and because they're tan, their muscles show more. So it's okay. But regardless, I'm starting to go off on a tangent again. It's very, very hard. Even though this guy seems to be a very diligent worker, sometimes in these Asian countries, hard work is not good enough.
그래서 그런 뭐 적성 검사라든지 입사 시험을 대비하기 위한 문제집도 있어요. 수능처럼 준비되기도 하고 나는 뭐 삼성도 보고 LG도 보고 뭐 SK도 보고 다른 기업들도 보겠지만 유독 삼성은 지원자 숫자가 워낙 많기 때문에 삼성 고시라고들 많이 하더라고요.
In an average year, as many as 500,000 graduating students applied to work at the chaebol conglomerate Samsung SK. So 500,000. Show me how many get accepted. That's 73% of all fresh graduates in a given year. Okay? How many get accepted? Oh, lame.
Economics professor at Seoul National University. As a consequence of chaebol-centric economic development, chaebol-dominated Korean economy, democracy is now replaced by corporatocracy.
I agree.
대규모 기업 집단, 즉 국가 경제에서 차지하는 비중이 아주 큰 기업 집단이고, 그리고 이 대규모 기업 집단이 특정 가문에 의해서 지배될 때, 사실상 지배될 때 재벌이다 이렇게 부릅니다. 이 당시에 60년대, 70년대 한국에서 자본시장이 발달하지 못했어요. 그러니까 기업들은 자금을 가지고 와서 투자를 해야 되는데 신인도가 낮아서 외국에서 돈을 가져올 수 없었고, 이때 정부가 중간에 끼어들어서 차관으로 외자를 가지고 와서 기업들에게 나눠줬습니다. 1970년대 중화공업 산업 중심으로 재벌들이 형성되었기 때문에 당시의 정부는 각 재벌들에게 특정 집중 분야를 나눠줬습니다.
Oh, this is South Korea? Dude, this looks like something out of North Korea. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you guys, but this is scary. I find this scary. This is scary to look at.
삼성, LG는 전자,
I'm getting shivers.
현대는 자동차,
Whoa, what?
전자,
Okay.
현대는 자동차. 이런 신생 재벌이라고 할 수 있는 재벌들이 더 빨리 성장을 하는 일까지 일어나게 됩니다. 이런 정부 주도 재벌 중심 발전 전략이 성공적이었습니다. 특히 한 30년 정도, 1960년에서 한 30년 정도 역사상 유례가 없는 성공을 거뒀습니다.
Crazy. 2018, look at that. Or 2017. 2,000 billion. That translates to a lot of money, bro. Well, I have another thing to say that is the result from this that you guys might not know. But let's see where this goes first.
삼성, 현대차, SK, LG 이렇게가 4대 기업일 것 같은데요. 4대 재벌의 경제력 집중 그리고 자산총액 규모 이런 것들이 최근 10년 사이에 많이 높아졌습니다.
4대 재벌 내지 5대 재벌이 사실 우리 이른바 재벌들의 반 정도를 차지한다 이렇게 볼 수가 있고요.
Oh my god. No wonder 73% of graduates want to apply to these 4 companies. It's not just clout. Imagine their dreams. One day I might be able to become one of these chebros. I can be the success story. I can be the guy that rose up from the ranks and became a chebro. Chebol, yeah. But dude, that is another thing. Korea, again, in every country in the world, I'm not trying to isolate Korea in this too much, but every country in the world has a false dream. And in America, I think the most vivid one is the American dream. Not everybody can come to America with $100 in their pocket and translate that into millions of dollars. And you don't need millions of dollars to be successful. You can live off and raise a family off of $80,000 a year. I'm sure you can do that, but it might not be the life you envisioned. However, Korea is really good at this. The chaebols are really good at selling a dream to people. Hey, you can tell everybody that you work at Samsung. You are a marketing director at Samsung. You are an engineer at Samsung. Now that is clout. Why? Because Korea, from this, is shown, man, do they give a huge fuck on how you look. And you want to know how I know that? K-pop. Look at these people. Look at how handsome these guys are. Look at their hair. Look at their skin. Look at their face shape. It's just perfect. It is really just perfect. Look, netizens vote for the visual of all visual groups, the prettiest of the prettiest. People love looking good in Korea, and they take it to the extreme. That's why Korea is the capital of the world when it comes to plastic surgery. The most common ones being double eyelid surgery, nose jobs, jaw surgery, and it's the scary kind, you know, the ones where the doctors will literally grab a saw and shave off your bone so you can have a narrower face. And then after that comes like boob jobs or something like that, but that's crazy.
이제 대한민국 경제의 뭔가 대들보인 것처럼 생각하는 사람들이 한편에서 많이 있어요. 법 위에 군림하고 있는 무소불위의 권력, 경제 권력인 것으로 인식하는 국민들도 꽤 많이 있습니다.
유미가 2003년 10월 달에 들어가서 일을 하다가 그 2005년 5월 한 말쯤 되었는데 그 유미가 엄마한테 전화가 왔어요. 아, 체한 것 같이 속이 미식거리고 배 아프고 그러다가 전화가 와갖고 처음에는 유미가 이 음식 먹은 게 체해서 그런 줄 알고 약방에 가서 그 약을 사다 먹으라 그랬어요.
약ban means like a pharmacy.
이제 유미하고 지 친구하고 이제 수원에 있는 병원을 가니까는 그 병원에서 그 바로 유미를 그 입원시켜놓고 그 이제 나하고 유미 엄마를 오라고 그런 거예요.
Why is it saying Yumi's mom? Are they not together anymore? Anyway.
의사 선생님이 그 나를 보고서는 복도로 잠깐 나오라고 얘기를 하더라고요. 그래서 내가 이제 복도로 이렇게 나갔어요. 그랬더니 그 의사 선생님이 하는 말씀이 유미는 급성 골수성
Oh my God. No.
그 얘기를 들으니까 나는 하늘이 아주 확 무너지는 느낌이 확 드는 거야. 아주 팔하고 다리가 힘이 쭉 빠지는 게 어떻게 할 수가 없는 거예요. 아주 가슴에 딱 무너지니까 아주 먹먹한 게 어떻게 표현할 수 없을 정도로 이게 답답한 거예요. 그 1차 항암 치료를 이제 시작하니까 머리가 이제 쑥쑥 이렇게 다 빠지는 거예요. 그러니까 아직 막 우는 거예요.
Oh
이게
my
아주
God.
머리가 쑥쑥 이렇게 다 빠지니까.
Fuck. File a lawsuit, dude. Apart from the top 4 chaebols in South Korea, there are 24 well-known family-owned conglomerates. Okay, so Samsung, SK, LG, and whatever the other one was. So they're the top 4, but there's at least 24 other pretty good ones. Like Korea Air.
폭력 행위 및 사적 권위에 의해 예정된 경로로 운항 중인 항공기가 무리하게 항로를 변경하고 사법 경찰권이 있는 사무장이 운항 중인 항공기에서 퇴거됨으로써 항공기 운항의 안전이 위협받고
땅콩 회항이 재벌이 무엇인가에 대해서 잘 모르던 외국인들한테 처음으로 그 힘과 권력을 인식시켜준 그런 사건 아닌가 봐요. 한국 기업의 갑질 문제가 그동안에 이런저런 상황에서 벌어지긴 했지만 실제로 오늘 일가족이 기소되거나 법정에 서게 된 것은 아마 드문 사례 중에 하나였습니다. 재벌은 무소불위의 권력을 가지고 있다. 누구도 자기를 건드릴 수 없다 하는 인식들이 널리 지금 보편적으로 자리 잡아버린 거예요.
이미 재벌 총수 일가들은 어떤 범죄를 저질러도 감옥에 가지 않는다는 것이 상식화되고 있어요.
There's a reason why these families, and at least in my belief, they will never go away, even if they get prosecuted. And the reason for that is because these families, they're not sorry for what they did. They are sorry for being caught. You know, sometimes you go a bit crazy. Sometimes when you have too much power, you go a bit loco. And instead of keeping it under wraps, you go public with it. And that's what happened to this lady who was like, you know what? I am the top of Korean Air. I'm going to force a plane to turn around because I did not like how my nuts were served. When she was bowing, she was not sorry for the fact that she did that and got that the head of like customer service or like the airline staff removed. No. She is sorry because she got caught doing it.
한국 법원에는 이제 재벌 정찰제 판결이라는 게 있어요. 징역 3년에 집행유예 5년 뭐 이런 식으로.
tax evasion in 2008, 3 years sentence. Commuted to 5 years probation. See? Probation. You know what that means? You got another fan. That's how they see it. No, I don't have an investigator following me. I got another fan. You want a picture? You want a selfie? You want me to sign something for you? You want a free Samsung? Is that what you want? Dude. 5 years probation is nothing. Just live your life like nothing happened. And at the end of the day, if you get in trouble, just throw some money at people.
주된 양형의
Stupid bitch.
왜 이 사람을 실형을 선고하지 않고 집행유예로 풀어주느냐? 거기에 대부분의 사유들이 국가 경제에 기여한 바가 크다. 이런 것들이 있기 때문에
사실은 우리나라의 재벌을 키운 것은 정부와 국민들이었는데 이제는 재벌들이 정부와 국민을 장악하고 법으로 통제하려고 하는 그런 역전된 시대가 된 것 같아요.
우리나라에서 가장 큰 이제 재벌 기업이잖아요, 삼성은. 그 가장 이제 밑바닥에서 일을 하게 되는 국민들은 상대적으로 더더 가난해지는. 근데 그 재벌들이 벌어들이는 것은 누군가의 희생을 통해서 이루어지고 있다는 사실이 확인되고 있는 거죠.
일단 몸이 언제부터 그랬던 거예요?
음식을 먹지를 못하니까 아주 얘가 아주 이렇게 아주 바짝 이렇게 손가락처럼 이렇게 마르는 거야. 몸에 아주 그냥 바짝 마르는 거예요. 그래서 집에를 딱 왔는데 이제 그때 당시에는 유미 할머니가 이제 집에 있었는데 아니 애가 어떻게 이렇게 돼서 왔냐고 하면서 그 회사가 어떻게 무슨 회사길래 애가 이렇게 병에 걸려서 이렇게 왔냐고
no.
아니, 밥을 안 잡수는 거야 이게. 아무리 가만히 이렇게 생각을 해봐도 이게 상당히 아주 이게 의심이 가는 거야. 유미 병이 지금 왜 걸렸지 하는 그런 생각이 들어가는 거예요. 그 유미한테 거기서 그 회사에서 무슨 일을 했냐고 이렇게 물어보니까 이 반도체 그 웨이퍼 이게 동그란 그 웨이퍼를 화학약품에다 담갔다가 뺐다가 또 다른 화학약품에 담갔다가 뺐다가 또 다른 화학약품에 뺐다가 담궜다 이런 걸 반복해서 일을 했다 그러는 거예요. 병원에 이제 한 며칠에 한 번씩 한 일주일에 한 번씩 오는 그 과장님이 있었는데 그 과장님한테 물어봤어요. 유미가 웨이퍼를 반도체를
I asked him. Yumi said she dipped the wafers into these chemicals.
화학약품을 쓰면서 담궜다 뺐다 하는 작업을 했다 그러는데 이러면은 이거 산업재해로 인정해주면은 안 되냐고 그랬어요. 그 산재 보험을 적용을 해달라 그랬어요.
Good.
그 과장이 나를 보고서는 아니 아버님이 이 큰 회사 삼성을 상대로 해서 이기려고 그러십니까? 그런 거예요.
그 당시에 뭐 황유미 씨 아버지에게는 처음에는 이제 회유를 하는 거예요. 뭐 아버지 집에 찾아가서 뭐 금전적 보상을 얘기하고
How
더
much?
이상 문제를 키우지 말기를 원하니까.
그 치료비 들어간 돈이 하고 그 경비하고 쓴 돈이 한 5천 한 몇백만 원 정도 들어갔던 것 같아. 한 5천 한 500만 원 이렇게.
And would you believe it? That's still like 10 times cheaper than America. Crazy.
들어갔던 것 같아요. 100만 원짜리 수표 5장을 가지고 왔어요.
Are you So your bill total is 55,000.
것 같아요. 100만 원짜리
He brought 5 checks for 1,000. So he's like, okay. Well, listen, we here at Samsung don't want you guys to get too mad about this. We don't want you guys getting a bit too rowdy. So how about this? I understand you have bills that come up to about 55,000, but what if we give you 5 $1,000 checks, huh? Get the fuck out of here, dude. This problem got worse in Korea because the new Korean president, and I can go off on his wife because his wife is basically a fraud. I'd love to go off on her sometime. But he got elected because he proposed that he would tax the lower classes more than the upper classes. And I don't even need to begin to explain to you guys why that is a big deal and why that's fucking over the country so bad.
수표 5장을 가지고 왔어요. 그 회사가 돈이 없어서 이것뿐이 못 가져왔으니까
The
이거 갖고
company
끝내자라고
does not have bullshit. I know this was 2003, but I'm sure Samsung has more than $5,000. I might be crazy, but I'm sure Samsung has just a little bit more. Just a little bit more than $5,000.
왜? 그래서 삼성에 돈이 없으니까 이거만 받고 끝내라는 그러니까 나는 이게 속았다는 느낌이 이제 확 들어가는
Of course.
제일 흔한 건 돈으로 이 경제적으로 지금 굉장히 치료비에 허덕이는 가족들을 이제 괴롭히는 거예요. 이 한 공장에서 여성 노동자 2명이 일하다 둘 다 백혈병에 걸려 사망을 했다. 이거는 이제 그냥 우연의 일치일 수 없다. 사실 말도 안 됐어요. 보호구도 제대로 없었고 기본 안전 장치 없이 커버도 없었어요. 노동자들의 죽음이 좀 반복되는 상황이 재현되니까 삼성에서는 아니다. 반도체 공장에서 일하는 인원이 워낙 많고 그중에 아주 소수만이 걸릴 뿐이며 일반인보다 훨씬 적게 걸린다는 식으로 사실상 거짓말을 했었었죠. 한국 사회에서 삼성을 상대로 해서 무언가를 진실을 파헤치거나 삼성을 상대로 싸운다는 것 자체가 사실은 이 삼성공화국이라고 불리우는 한국 사회에서 거의 불가능에 가까운 일이라고 보통 사람들이 생각하는 그런 것이기 때문에
I mean, they're right. Don't bring a knife to a gunfight. Samsung is the dude holding the gun. You're the dude with the knife. Actually, that's kind of a bad example. You're the dude with the knife. Samsung has a machine gun. Okay? You won't take one step towards them before they mow you down.
다른 기업과 다르게 삼성이 좀 다르다라고 할 수 있는 건 되게 국가 경제에서 차지하는 바, 기여하는 바가 매우 큰데
휴대폰 사업, 반도체 사업이 커지면서 97년 외환위기 이후에는 삼성이 거의 독주를 하는 그런 구조로 지금 가고 있습니다.
엄청난 자본을 갖고 있잖아요. 이 자본을 가지고
Wow.
엄청난 자본을 갖고 있잖아요.
Jesus.
이 자본을 가지고 정치적으로나 사회적으로 또는 이제 그 언론에 대해서 미치는 영향력이 엄청나다고 볼 수 있죠.
사회적, 정치적 의사결정이 자신들에게 유리하게 만드는 그런 역할을 한다.
그동안 관대했다라고 봐야죠. 재벌에 대해서 우리 국가나 사법부가 관대했었고 특히 삼성에 대해서는 더 관대했던 것이 아니냐.
즉 경제 권력이 된다. 민주적인 통제에서 벗어난 경제 권력에 대해서 국가 의사결정에 심대한 왜곡을 가져오는 그런 문제가 있겠습니다.
I'm not religious, but I just turned religious. Why? That's not Samsung. I don't know why they're calling it Samsung. That's God. They can manipulate the government, politics, the economy in their favor. They can get away with murder. And really, who's to blame? Ooh, that is right, ladies and gentlemen. It is the people. Samsung just knew where the market was going. It was going towards tech. They got the jump start and they got a boost because the people and the Korean government and the economy needed it because they were in a financial crisis. it's tragic, but the way you look at it is that they saw an opportunity, the time was right, and now they are God. Why? Because no one can stop them. Without Samsung, Korea takes a nasty hit. And they get embarrassed. Their image becomes broken. No one wants that. Not even average people like you and me want that. We don't want our images broken. We want to be seen as an individual. But if Korea's economy crashes because of Samsung, what does that tell the rest of the world? Hey, it's me, Korea. And well, I kind of crutch on Samsung and the crutch broke. Don't pay attention to me. I'm just gonna, just kind of play this off. It's embarrassing.
그 부장하고 과장들 한 3명하고 이렇게 해서 승용차로 한 대씩 이제 여기 내려와요. 나보고서는 유미가 병 걸린 거는 개인적인 질병이고 회사하고는 삼성하고는 아무런 관련도 없는데 삼성에다 왜 바가지를 씌우냐 그러나 그래. 유미에 대한 한마디도 안 물어봐요. 이제 3월 6일 날 그 아침에 일찌감치 이제 그
God.
유미 그 병원 치료 받으라고 여기서 이제 새벽에 한 4시 반쯤 되면 여기서 출발해요. 유미가 이렇게 뒤에서 이렇게 들어놓여 있다가는 더워 그러는 거예요. 그 뒤를 이렇게 돌아다 보니까 땀을 아주 뻘뻘 흘리고 있는 거예요. 유미 엄마가 옆에 앉았다가 이렇게 뒤를 이렇게 돌아다 보니 얘가 왜 이래 그러는 거예요. 그래 고속도로에서 나 뒤를 이렇게 돌아다 보세요. 이렇게 돌아보니까 그 사이에 벌써 숨이 다 이렇게 넘어가고 눈은 벌써 이렇게
Oh
들어갔어요.
no. They didn't even make it to the hospital.
그래서 고속도로 옆에다 차를 이렇게 세워놓고 그다음에 난 차에서 내리고 유미 엄마도 내려가고 뒷문을 열으니까 벌써 그 사이에 숨이 벌써 다 넘어간 거예요. 얘가. 싸워야 되겠다는 생각이 들어가는데 내가 뭐 어떻게 싸워야 되는지 말을 어떻게 해야 되는지 뭐 누가 나를 아는 사람도 하나도 까지게 앞이 캄캄한 거야. 어떻게 해야 될지 모르겠는 거야. 그래서 내가 유미하고 그때 당시 약속을 했어요. 원인 내가 꼭 밝힌다고.
사실 저희가 가장 힘들었던 거는 저희가 삼성을 상대로 싸운다는 느낌이 아니라 삼성과 이미 짬짬이가 되어 있는 정부기관과 싸운다. 노동부 산하 근로복지공단, 그리고 경찰 이런 곳들과 싸운다는
Exactly.
느낌.
Samsung is God.
경험들이 많이
You can't beat them.
받아주시면 되는 문제 아니에요. 사람 수가
3명이나 5명이나 뭐가 문제예요? 근데 노동자 병들게 한 사람 사업장 반드시 처벌받아야 합니다.
김경민님을 기억하라.
Oh my god, dude. I might cry watching this.
항상기 아버님이 처음에 이제 근로복지공단에 산재 신청 서류를 접수를 했었는데 이제 아버님이 주장한 거는 내 딸이 삼성 공장에서 화학물질을 다루는 일을 했다라고 했는데 삼성에서 제출한 자료는 스티커 라벨 붙이는 작업을 했다는 식으로 주장을 했대요.
그래서
Don't they have cameras
그거
inside?
아니라고 그거는 삼성에서 서류를 거짓으로 꾸며서 그렇게 올렸고 유미는 끝까지 처음서부터 여기서 일을 다 했다고 얘기를 하니까는 이 차장이 날 이 책상을 손바닥에 다 이렇게 치는 거예요. 삼성 이렇게 큰 회사에서 백혈병에서 사람 몇 사람 죽었다고 해서 서류를 거짓으로 꾸며서 이렇게 올릴 것 같습니까?
Oh my. This is like that was like 5 years long.
언론인으로서 되게 부끄러운 얘기긴 한데 우리나라 언론사가 기업의 광고 없이는 생존을 못 하는데 최대의 광고주는 삼성이니까 삼성이 바라는 대로 기사를 쓸 수밖에 없겠죠.
That 2 years ago.
더 충격적이었던 건 삼성이 그 자기네 회사 앞에서 사옥 앞에서 아마 1인 시위를 오래 했던 사람들의 명단을 이렇게 좀 만들어놔요. 뭐 저기에 있는 저런 지명수배 명단 같은 그 지명수배 명단 같은 그 양식이 똑같은 양식인데 거기 제일 윗줄에 뭐라고 써있냐면 우수 고객 명단이라고 써있어요.
Yikes.
피해자들을 조롱하는 거죠. 자신의 딸을 잃은 아버지를 그냥 그 앞에서 시위를 했다는 이유로 우수 고객이다 이렇게 조롱을 하는 걸 보면서 와 이거는 예의를 넘어서 예의와 윤리에 문제가 있는 게 아닌가.
유미 화장을 해갖고 요거를 뿌리려고 여기를 올라왔습니다. 여기를 올라왔는데 그 올라올 적에 유미 친구하고 내 친구 또 유미 회사에서 일하던 같이 사람들 유미 그 과장님도 해갖고 여기에 그 사람들이 한 40-50명 이렇게 쭉 그 줄을 지어 서 있었어요. 그 요거를 뿌리는데 내가 아주 너무 억울해갖고 아주 눈에서 아주 눈물이 좀 막 내려 흘렀었어요. 그래서 그 요거를 뿌리면서 우리 그 유미 엄마랑 유미 누나랑
Oh my god.
요거를 자꾸 이렇게 쭉 뿌렸어요. 쭉 이제 여기 이제 가면서 이쪽으로 이렇게 쭉 뿌려서 이 앞으로 이렇게 왔는데 아주 그 사람들을 보는 순간에 아주 너무 억울해갖고 아주 눈물이 아주 막 내려 흐르는 거예요. 얼마나 화가 나가지고 너무 억울해가지고. 그래서 그 요거를 가지고 이 삼성 반도체 공장에서 온 사람들한테 얼굴에다 확 뿌리고 싶었는데 그 사람들이 먼저 눈치채고 뒷걸음질 슬금슬금 하면서 벌써 저 줄에 이렇게 나가더라고요. 그래서 그 당시 나를 누가 조금이라도 좀 도와주는 사람이 있었으면 그 사람들 얼굴에다 확 이게 유골을 뿌리고 싶었는데 그때는 저 혼자라서 너무 자신도 없고 용기도 없고 그래서 차마 그 유골을 가지고 그 사람들 얼굴에 뿌리지를 못했는데 지금 와서 생각하면 그 사람들한테 얼굴에다가 유골을 뿌리지 못한 게 아주 한스러워 죽겠어요. 아주 너무 억울해가지고.
돈 없고 힘없고 가난한 노동자라 그래서 작업 현장에서 사학력 노동에서 몸들고 죽어간 노동자들 이런 놈들로 긴 시간 동안 해결하지 못하는 것은
Oh my god, dude. It took a decade for this. God, dude, congratulations to the father. Congratulations to the mom and dad. They fought for 10 years. On November 1st, 2018, Samsung Electronics apologized to those who had suffered, acknowledging they didn't sufficiently manage the risks caused by health hazards in their semiconductor and LCD businesses. Okay, but is there like compensation for that? Took 11 years and 8 months. But is there compensation? An apology is not enough. They killed somebody.
점점 더 그 격차가 벌어지는 사회에는 격차 가장 꼭대기에 있는 사람은 모든 권한을 갖고 있지만 그렇지 않은 뭐 90%든 99%든 자기의 삶의 주인으로서 자유롭지 않다는 거죠.
재벌의 경제력 집중이라는 것이 법의 지배, 민주주의에 대한 근본적인 도전이다라고 볼 수가 있다는 것이죠.
아마존이든 뭐 삼성이든 또는 뭐 페이스북이든 사실은 이제 그 모든 것들을 자기 중심적으로 그 자원을 결국 독점하게 만드는 구조를 만들었어요.
You might wonder why Korea's like this. Well, if such a big company like Samsung is having these murders and deaths happen, well, why isn't the rest of the country The old, the middle-aged, the young. Why aren't they protesting? Why? Well, because one, it didn't affect them, and two, it's convenient. Why? Samsung Electronics makes phones. A lot of Koreans have iPhones, but a lot of Koreans have Samsungs. And at the end of the day, it's a good phone. It is a good product, and Samsung did do a very good job in creating it. So even though somebody from their company has passed away because of Samsung's poor decision making, they're not going to say anything. The average citizen is not going to say anything because they're like, well, I still like Samsung products. I'm sure I have an iPhone right now. But I'm sure that if I started to discover all the fucked up shit that Apple did, in all honesty, I'm not going to care that much. Why? Because I like their products. I was thinking about buying the new AirPods. And that is why in Korea, because I can only talk from my personal experience, people are very selfish. It's courtesy in America, Canada, North America for people to hold doors open for people. But in Korea, you don't do that. It's all about you. You open the door for yourself. You get that last spot in the movie theater. You get the last spot. Or you get the last taxi before somebody has to wait like another 45 minutes for a taxi, right? And it's interesting because this is a good tangent into the next thing that I want to talk about, and that is actually going to be Korea's spending habits. And I think it's actually a direct link to Chaebol. But let's continue with the video first.
한편으로는 자랑스러워하지만 한편으로는 이렇게 탈법을 저질렀는데
That's what I said.
탈법을 저지르는데 한 번도 처벌받지 않았기 때문에 사회 정의를 깨트린 것에 대한 분노, 증오.
근데 그거를 어떻게 바꿀 수 있을 거냐는 또 다른 문제잖아요. 근데 약간 뭐 무기력함이라고 해야 되나? 뭐 이런 게 있을 것 같아요. 그러니까 이제 이 사람들이 잘못한 거는 너무 많은데 그냥 뭐 한국을 먹여 살리는 기업이라는 이미지도 너무 강해.
Look, their image. People don't want to challenge that. They want to be proud. So they stay silent.
아유 뭐 그래서 어쩔 건데 이제 이런 무기력함이 좀 있지 않을까라는 생각이 들기도 합니다.
저는 이제 택시 운전을 하면서 손님을 이렇게 태우니까 어떤 때는 유미 친구들이 탈 때도 있어요. 결혼을 해갖고 전부 다 애기 하나씩 데리고 타고 둘씩 데리고 타고 어떤 때는 신랑하고 같이 타기도 하고 그렇게 하면은 이제 그런 생각이 나죠. 우리 유미도 살아있으면은 지금 결혼해갖고 그 애기를 하나나 둘씩 이렇게 데리고 다닐 텐데 하는 유미 생각이 그렇게 나기도 하죠.
Oh, dude. Finally, some statistics. In 2018, Samsung apologized to the victims' families, paying out $11.6 million in compensation. Okay. In that same year, Samsung posted $53.9 billion in profits. Dude, this is proof. This is 100% solid proof. Okay. The rich families, the rich kids of Korea, 11.6 million, that's nothing to them, dude. That's nothing. I've said this once, I've said it again. They are literally God. You can't win. You won't win. And they will stay because they got every single Korean citizen by the balls. By the throats. But here's the thing. I think this is probably like towards the end of the documentary and stuff. Yeah, pretty much. This is not to say that Korea is a dog shit country. Korea is a great country. I'm actually thinking about maybe trying to find a way to move back there and work. Because I want to be with my family. Korea has a lot of great things about it. The culture is very entertaining. They have a very good entertainment system with movies, traditional entertainment like television, and of course K-pop, right? Those are all amazing things, and you should indulge in that, and you should have fun with it. But at the same time, the reason why these things are so prominent is because somebody had to sacrifice a lot for these. And the sacrifice comes from different people, whether that's somebody sacrificing to create a company that can produce that sort of content for people, or the people who have literally died for the company, so the company is able to continue to provide their content for other people. It is very tough. It is very complicated. And at the end of the day, you just need to look at the positive side of things. Average people like you and me are not going to change the world, but at the very least, we can be conscious of the problem, and then we can just live about our day, meeting up with friends, having a good time, and trying to live our own goddamn lives. Because at the end of the day, we all have our own fucking problems. We're way too busy dealing with ourselves before we can deal with a fucking multi-billion-dollar company fucking over its like workers and stuff. But that brings up one more thing that I think we should talk about. And I did watch this video prematurely, but I think I have some things to say. And that's South Korea spending. CNA Insider, so it's not Vice. Boom.
Every minute, South Korea's household debt rises by an estimated $100,000. Every 12 minutes, a South Korean is declared bankrupt.
그러니까 이거 이자가 뭐고 안 보인다니까요. 돈이 급하면 아무것도 안 보입니다.
The country has the highest household debt to GDP ratio in Asia. And it's driving people to desperate measures. A ticking bomb waiting to go off.
문을 똑똑똑 서로 이렇게 치면은 누군지 두세 명 누군지 알겠으니까 그 사람 없는 것처럼 행동했던 것 같아요. 집안에서도 그냥. 불도 안 켜고 생활했었고 그냥 거의 지지분도 지금 집에서 그냥 밖에도 안 나가고.
Debt collectors.
For 11 months, debt collectors harassed Ko Young-gyu relentlessly.
계속 문자로 보내고 안에 있는 거 다 알고 있어요. 나오세요. 그 전화하고 막 계속 그러니까.
Ko owed a whopping $50,000. The stress.
Whoa, okay.
He missed his artery and survived. But living meant his debt kept growing. In 10 months, it ballooned by nearly half to $70,000.
Interest rates are fucking scary, bro.
In despair, he overdosed on pills. He sent a suicide note to his family, who called the police. They broke down his door and stopped the suicide. When his family finally found out about his death, he tried again for the third time, poisoning himself with a potent mix of alcohol.
A bit dramatic, but
그때 2016년도
we still got the message.
그게 어떤 경우였냐면 이제 가족이 알게 되고 하니까 그런 스트레스감 때문에.
Again, you see what I mean? The shame. Where does that shame come from? He fucked up his image. Like, it's... Even I'm starting to realize just how prominent image is. I feel like in America, you guys couldn't care less about image. You know, fuck society rules. I'm gonna be who I want to be, whether that's me having rainbow dyed hair and tattooing my eyeballs, right? But in Korea, that's not the case. Those people still exist. Okay, I'm not trying to paint Korea as this perfect place or this place where it's a complete 180. There are still similarities, but in Korea, a lot of people are way more concerned about how they look in front of other people than America. And this proves it.
Whose multiple suicide attempts are hardly the exception. Between 2014 and 2018, more than 800 people tried to kill themselves by jumping off this bridge in Seoul. Known as the Bridge of Death, the Mapo Bridge is one of South Korea's most popular suicide spots.
I've walked on that bridge before. It's a great view, but what happens at night is kind of scary.
여보세요? 김
Debt counselor Kim Min-chul believes the top reason that drives debtors to end their own lives is shame.
이게 동양의 전반적인 문화 중에 하나가 그 수치심을 갖고.
Yep, and that includes China and Japan, and you know the Philippines, Malaysia, all that jazz. It's everywhere.
있으시거든요. 빛이 100이라면 70만 공개하시고 30을 숨겨요. 이런 경우가 굉장히 많습니다. 그럴 땐 두 번은 더 이상 말 못하겠어요. 이렇게 문제가 더 번져나가는 경우가 있기 때문에.
Another thing that I should mention, the reason why a lot of Koreans wear masks even though they're not sick is because of the air. The air is terrible in Korea. That's why a lot of people wear masks, and that's why Korea's masks are so well developed. When my cousin came over to America, they brought over some masks. Their masks are not only way more comfortable, but they actually filter way better. And they're just way more comfortable to wear. Korea's air is ass. That's why so many Koreans are wearing masks all the time when they go out.
South Korea may be an economic powerhouse, but its households are up to their necks in debt. And this debt is growing. Korean households owe banks and other financial institutions $1.75 trillion. The country's household debt as a ratio of its GDP now ranks the highest in Asia.
Household debt has been rising at much faster rate compared to household income itself, which suggests that people are taking on more debt in order to repay back their original debt.
Household debt refers to student loans, car loans, home mortgages, small business loans, and credit card debt.
That's pretty standard for any household in the world.
Incur. In his late 20s, Koo had 4 credit cards. They gave him a combined monthly credit limit of some $30,000.
Okay. Who wouldn't be tempted by that, dude? You can buy $30,000 worth of shit a month. Oh, dude. Banks, man.
On an income of just $500.
Oh my.
Credit. Koo went on an 18-month buying spree.
여태까지 내가 못 해본 거, 못 사본 거 한번 해보고 이렇게 고가의 캠코더 사서 여행.
You sure to be a YouTuber?
또 여행도 가고 또 여러 가지 제 신발도 보조기구도 사고 해서 좀 한번 풍요롭게 한번 1년 살아보자. 대충 대략 1년 살아보자. 그렇게 해서 살았던 것 같고 살아서 이제 그때 쓸 당시에도 마음 편하진 않았어요. 되게 힘들었어요.
In South Korea, credit card use is a key contributor to the country's high household debts. Koreans use credit cards more widely than anyone else in the world. Buying on plastic accounts for some 40% of South Korea's GDP, much higher than America, where it's 18%.
That's nearly triple, dude.
In a country focused on achievement, material goods serve as a marker of success.
And that is why so many people, cute girls, by the way, wait, what was I saying? Okay. And that is why all these people, all these college grads, they want to go to these big companies so they can have the money to buy the shit that shows people off. You know, Off-White, Gucci, Louis. They can do that if they're single. They can.
But this consumerist culture is a fairly recent development. As recently as the 1990s, South Korean households had one of the world's highest saving rates. That is, until the 1997 Asian financial crisis.
Guess where that financial crisis was also mentioned? That's damn right, dude, in the previous video. In the previous goddamn video. And guess who popped up? Samsung and all these other chebros.
Korea's a huge bailout from the International Monetary Fund.
Unemployment rates too are climbing in South Korea.
Huge corporate debts are looming and could lead to more insolvencies.
With businesses limping, the South Korean government
They gotta
tried to
stimulate
kickstart the
spending.
economy by encouraging consumers to spend. It gave tax breaks for plastic payments. The result? The number of companies issuing cards exploded. Between 1999 and 2002, the number of credit cards for every adult doubled to 4. And as competition heated up, credit card companies also started loosening credit limits to entice more cardholders.
So they could spend more, they can stimulate the economy more. That's how Korea recovered.
Millions defaulted on their card payments, dragging down with them credit card companies. The largest of them, LG Card, had to be rescued with a $3.9 billion package by the government the following year. But fast forward 16 years on, South Koreans are once again on a plastic spending spree. Annual plastic payments have already exceeded pre-credit card crisis levels by 17%, hitting $700 billion in 2019, fueled in part by the generous 15% tax exemption on card spending and spurred on by reckless lending.
I don't even know if America is even willing to do 15% exemption on credit card spending. I don't even think there is a limit for that, no?
그때 100만 원, 2005년도에 100만 원, 2007년도에 200만 원씩 한도가 쭉쭉 늘어나더니 2008년도 200, 그다음에 2010년도까지 가니까 7년도 10년도 가니까 4,500까지 늘어났어요, 한도가. 그다음에
Wow.
700.
By the time he was in his mid-20s, Koo was hooked on plastic. So when he lost his job due to a medical condition, he tried gaming the system to hang on to his cards. He succeeded.
What did he do by?
서류 같은 거 조작하면 된다는 거죠. 그러니까 서류 어떻게 보면은 일은 하고 있는데 일은 예전에 일을 했다는데 그대로.
Is it this easy? Dude, I didn't know it was this easy to manipulate your documents in Korea from what I see. From these last 2 videos, Samsung can do it, an average guy like this can do it. Damn. What is going on, Korea?
주소를 그 목록을 남겨놓고 그 일을 했던 그런 곳에서 이제 그런 상황들을 남겨놓고.
With credit extended to those without the means to eventually pay up, excessive debt is now a widespread issue in South Korea. 134,000 people went to the bankruptcy courts in 2018. That's 1 in every 300 adults. What's more, the group with the fastest hike in bankruptcies are young people in their 20s.
That's not pretty much. That's not really that much of a surprise, honestly. Well, OBS stops recording. That's a bit sad, but I guess I'll get the footage somewhere else. That's not bad at all. That's not surprising at all. Of course they're going to have all this stuff.
이거 되게 유명하잖아. 이런 색깔도 되게 괜찮은 것 같아.
별로야.
Shopping buddies Park Jong-hyuk and Hong Tae-rim often meet to check out the latest fashion.
BTS.
이거 진짜 잘 어울린다.
With a soft spot for luxury items, they each spend about $16,000 a year. mostly on shopping and food.
16,000. Wow.
카페 되게 예쁘게.
And they showed us some of their prized items, including a $3,000 bag.
제가 이 마크가 너무
Okay. Normally, I would shit on her for for spending that much money on a bag, but I'm gonna be honest. I also have a soft spot for luxury goods because it's so luxurious. I'm sure if I was in a position to spend $3,000 on the bag, I probably would. So I'll let her slide this time.
마음에 들어서 산 거거든요. 이렇게 열리는 게. 그래서 솔직히 메고 다닐 때마다 기분은 좀 좋아요.
지금 갖고 있는 거는 지갑 카드 지갑인데 그거 뭐 작은 건데 마르지엘라 브랜드의 지갑이에요.
I've never heard of this company.
되게 작은 지갑이네요. 이거 가격이 어느 정도 되고 어떻게 돈이 어디서 나서 구매했는지 좀 알려주세요.
이 지갑을 사고 싶어서 돈을 모아서 카드 지갑을 샀습니다. 이거는 마르지엘라라는 브랜드고.
Oh, he's starting to stall. You see that he only answered in two sentences, or one sentence almost. I saved money to buy this card. By the way, this brand is called Margiela. It's literally within frames of each other. Look at that.
그리고 해체주의 작가가 만든 브랜드인데 가격은 한 50만 원대.
오.
꺼내면은 기분 좋고 그래서 계속해서 새로운 아이템을 사고 하는 것 같습니다. 사서 SNS에 막 자랑하고 그럼 친구들이 와 너 이거 있냐 이러면은 막 더 막 어깨 올라가고 더 기분 좋고.
Clout. Everyone loves clout. Everyone does. You think American kids love clout? Bro, you haven't seen Koreans. Clout is the name of the game.
그렇게 자랑도 하고 그랬습니다. 그 아이템을 사서 쓰고 있는 제 모습을 상상하면 엄청난 그 행복감과 그리고 만족감, 나의 가치가 마치 하늘로 확 상승한 느낌이 들어서 정말 꼭 사야겠다 이런 생각을 가졌던 적이 있어요.
과시욕 자랑하고 싶어가지고.
Damn, this girl's more honest than the boyfriend.
Splurges on $200 beauty treatments and cosmetic products. Park's passion is $300 to $400 limited edition sneakers, often available only through a.
This is the limited edition. Are you, ooh, bro? What? What is even the? What?
항상 응모를
These aren't Supremes or Nikes.
계속 꾸준히 하고 있습니다. 그럼 당첨되면은 진짜 세상을 다 가진 기분으로 매장으로 뛰어가서 살 돈이 없으면 빌려서라도 샀던 것 같아요.
Okay, yeah. You know you have a problem when you need to ask your friends for money to buy shoes, dude. I get it. Like, in Korea, everything is so strong. I feel like in Korea, it's either off or very strong. Your desire to do well in university, your desire to have nice things, your desire to become extremely beautiful is either you don't care about it at all or you are obsessed about it. But the reality of the fact is that everybody is obsessed about it because there's no option to be not obsessed about it because everyone will shit on you if you do. Your parents, your teachers, your friends, your boss, your coworkers, everyone will. Korea and the way that everything builds into each other, the rich chaebyos and then the spending sprees because of the economic crisis, which lets Samsung rise up. This is all tying into each other and basically puts like the average Korean citizen in like a position where they need to chase these superficial luxury goods because they know they can't fight these big companies. Chances are they're not going to get into these big companies, so they're going to take whatever money that they have and just spend it so they can give off the image that they're really, really, really rich.
Since 2014, consumer spending among millennials like Park and Hong has risen twice as fast as that of baby boomers. And they will soon outspend the average baby boomer despite having far less wealth. But for now, these two are not yet in the red. Park relies on wealthy parents for his indulgences. Hong.
Oh, maybe this guy is a chaebol. Oh.
With her spending with 2 part-time jobs and a YouTube product review channel.
Okay.
But the pair know of
Okay. Look at her.
part-time jobs and a YouTube product review channel.
Okay. If I saw her for the first time, I would assume that she's rich. I would not assume that she had 2 part-time jobs. I would not have guessed. That outfit looks like it costs more than my college tuition. And I didn't even see if she has a backpack on, or what kind of shoes she's wearing, or what kind of makeup she has on. That's crazy.
But the pair know of many other friends who do not have the means to keep up with their taste for luxury.
명품을 사고 그 예를 들면은 친한 친구 중에 알바를 한 돈이 있으면은 그 돈으로 전부 명품을 사는 거예요. 그러면은 자기 스스로의 가치가 이제 높아졌다고 생각을 해서 그래서 계속해서 중독으로 사는 친구가 있어요.
이게 너무 계속 연기가 돼서 한번 연락을 드렸어요. 내일 일단은 오전 중으로 12시까지는 입금을 하시고 반드시 좀 문자를 주시고요. 오늘까지는 제가 그 채권자한테 잘 말씀드리겠습니다.
Hwang Il-dong works for a law firm that specializes in collecting debt. He's seen his fair share of runaway spending, spurred by the desire to keep up appearances and be fashionable.
어떤 보상 심리 같은 것도 있는 것 같긴 하고 본인이 어떤 부분이 부족한 부분을 어떤 채울 수 있는 가장 쉬운 길이 돈이잖아요. 어떤 명품을 산다든가 좋은 차를 탄다든가 뭐 이런 걸로 보여줄 수 있는 가장 어떻게 보면 쉬운 방법이에요. 돈이라는 게. 너무 이제 거기에 휩쓸리는 분들이 많고 우리나라 사회가 약간 좀 그런 경향이 크죠. 유행이라든가 이런 데 민감하잖아요. 외국에서는 개성을 존중하지 않습니까? 그죠? 프랑스나 뭐 유럽 쪽은 남들이 입은 옷은 안 입으려고 하는데 우리나라는 뭐가 누가 입었다더라, 예쁘다더라 그러면 다 그거 입고 있잖아요. 요새 뭐
That is true. One of the most popular ones that I've noticed and have experienced is when it snows in Korea, everybody loves wearing what Koreans call padding, which is basically like a puffer jacket. It's not super puffy where you look like the fucking Michelin tire mascot. It's puffy as in like it's slightly poofy, but it's still flat enough to not make you look fat. Everybody owned one of those. Everybody. Soon as one person started it, everyone started following it.
뒤처지면 내 행복 자체도 뒤처지는 걸로 생각하는 것 같아요.
An even more serious addiction that is leading young South Koreans into debt is gambling. In 2019,
well, it's a good thing I'm streaming on YouTube because if I were over on Twitch, oh, God, we're not gonna go there, but just saying.
The Korean Center for Gambling Problems announced the number of teens treated for gambling addiction had jumped 6 times from 2015, with most of these youth gambling on illegal websites. And
that is something that's always bothered me. Korea has very high censorship. You can't watch porn in Korea, bro. I would not survive over there. Like, you can't. There is a pop-up that will pop up and say, if you keep on searching this up, you will go to jail. Like, really? Like, I wouldn't survive in Korea, but dude, if there's a 6 times rise in people who gamble on illegal gambling websites, how are they not caught? Like, I guarantee you the average gambler on these websites is not very smart because they're making dumb choices with their money. I doubt they're able to hide their online presence well enough for the police to not find them.
That's how Kwon Do-hyun got started at 20 years old when he was an undergraduate.
처음에는 당연하게 초심자의 행운으로 돈을 따더라고요. 4천만 원까지도 따봤어요. 진짜 100만 원도 안 되는 돈을 시작해서. 이제 그러면서 이제 망가지게.
33,000. Fuck.
근데 저 이해가 안 돼. 어떻게 1,000만 원, 100만 원에 4천만 원이 될 수 있었지?
그건 진짜 운이에요. 운. 말 그대로 그냥 행운. 근데 그 돈도 결국 다 날렸고요.
그리고 모든 거를 잃고, 그러니까 가지고 있는 다 잃고, 빚은 그럼 어떻게 시작했어요? 그 도박 빚은?
진짜 대학생 신분으로 빌린 돈도 있고요.
그러니까 대학생한테도 돈을 빌려줬었어요?
근데 정부 햇살론 이런 게
A Sunshine Loan is a microcredit scheme for low-income individuals supported by the government. Unlike student loans, which are paid to the college, such loans are handed out directly to the borrower. Kwon got a $12,000 loan, an average sum for such loans.
Average?
He gambled it away in just 10 days.
Oh my god.
After
Is this
months
guy
of
Trainwreck?
spiraling debt,
The Korean
his parents
Trainwreck?
stepped in and lent him some $20,000 to repay his debts. But that didn't stop the gambling. Finally, his parents threw him out.
소액 결제 같은 거 해가
My parents love me a lot. Okay, they really do love me. But I'm willing to say, if they gave me 20K to pay off my debt and I didn't, okay, first of all, I can't imagine how that conversation went. Where you and your wife are working hard to save up for retirement, and then your son walks up to you and it's like, Mom, Dad, I know I'm 20 years old, but I have $20,000 in debt because I gambled. I wouldn't even give him 20K. I would say, okay, well, now you need to pay that off after you graduate college. Like, shit, man. Like that's all I can say. Just shit.
가지고 막 요금 100만 원씩 나오게 하고 하니까 차라리 집에 없는 게 쫓아내버리는 게 아무래도.
Oh, so he was also going behind their backs.
쫓겨난 거예요. 제가 너 나가겠다고도 했고.
Well, I guess that's kind of nice.
많이 힘들었죠. 네. 막 무좀 같은 것도 없었는데 무좀도 걸리고 제대로 씻지도 못하고 맨날 피로에 찌들고 맨날 돈 부족하고 배고프고.
Kwon's sister took him in after he'd spent 2 months on the streets. But his addiction continued. With no source of income, he turned to informal loans to feed his gambling habit.
Oh my god, dude.
Kwon told us about an online debt forum on Naver Cafe.
This is basically the Korean version of Reddit.
For loans. But some lenders are loan sharks.
지금 입사하신데 새로 이제 일자리 얻으셨잖아요. 이제 신규 일자리. 지금 워크아웃
Gaming
신청하셨잖아요.
headset, dude. This guy must be a gamer at night.
Kim Min-chul has been a debt counselor for 7 years. And he told us Naver Cafe isn't the only platform that loan sharks use to target young victims.
들어요. 예. 청소년을 대상으로 하는 거 있습니다. 그것 좀 말씀드릴까요? 30, 50 대출이라고 이름 붙였는데 카톡으로 많이들 하더라고요. 그래서 30만 원 빌려주.
Also, quick tip: the way you convert USD to Korean dollars, or no, Korean dollars to USD is by taking away 3 zeros. The extra $60 that's missing comes from the basic dollar to dollar exchange rate, and it's, you know, the bigger the number gets, the bigger the difference. But that's the general rule of thumb. This becomes more inconsistent the bigger the number gets, but in general, take away 3 zeros.
2주 후에 50만 원 줘. 단순하게 복리로 계산했을 때 한 1,500% 되는. 그래서 학교 앞에서 30만 원을 줘요, 학생에게. 그거 그리고 나서 2주 후에 찾아와서 50만 원을 받아가는.
That is some mafia shit. If I needed to get a loan and someone had to meet me up after school to hand me that in an envelope, I would refuse it. I would refuse it, dude. No way. With a 500% interest rate, blah, blah, blah. I'm so shocked I can't even talk straight, dude. That is crazy.
그런 형태가 고등학생들 사이에서 뭐 이 핸드폰과
And of course they advertise on Instagram.
In 2018, conservative estimates put lending by loan sharks at $5.5 billion.
And that's conservative, dude. Why is money in quotation marks?
400,000 South Koreans taking up such loans. That's nearly 1 in every 100 adults in the country. Making youths particularly vulnerable to loan sharks is unemployment. Government statistics show that 1 in 10 South Koreans between 15 and 29 are jobless.
Why? Because as we explained before, again, the only place they ever want to go are these big conglomerate companies, and they can't get in. They refuse to get in. And so they will keep on staying unemployed and trying time and time again, only to ultimately fail.
But some research using broader definitions found that as many as 2 out of 10 youths are not in education, employment, or training, or are
Well, that makes it worse. They're not even skilled to apply for these jobs.
Minimum wage laws for deterring small businesses from hiring inexperienced youths. Kwon studied social work, but didn't finish his degree. And for the past year, he's been struggling to find full-time employment. Since moving in with his sister, Kwon's found 2 part-time jobs, paying him a total of $1,000 a month.
뭐 자기 노력하기 나름이겠지만 요즘 진짜 아르바이트도 구하기 경쟁이 정말 치열하고 취업도 잘 안 되고 정말 자기 스펙 쌓는 분들이 많거든요.
In his downtime, Kwon is trying to polish his new web design skills.
Okay.
Last year, he took a 6-month vocational training program, one of the measures offered by the Korean government as it grapples with unemployment among youth, which is at a 17-year high.
I mean, I guess that's pretty good. I mean, tech is only going to get bigger, so being a web developer can be pretty useful. I wouldn't think that you're going to be unemployed.
또 1, 2년 재선에서 또 계속 씁니다. 쓰고 난 다음에 이제 취업해 보면은 그걸로 당장 갚을 수가 없는 돈이 되는 거죠. 그럼 거기서부터 계속 빚이 생기는 거예요.
그러니까 점점 이제 개인회생이나 파산을 신청하는 분들 연령대가 낮아지는 이유 중에 하나가 뭐 일단 취업은 늦어지고 있고 그 다음에 대학에 다니기 위해서는 그 비싼 등록금을 내야 되는데
6 out of 10 young people leave college with an average debt burden of at least $10,000, mostly from college loans.
저축은 현재 전혀 하지 못하고 있고요. 아무래도 대출 이자나 이런 게 많다 보니까 대출 쪽이 한 달에 한 25만 원 정도 나가고 그다음에 누나한테 생활비 한 20만 원 정도 주고
360?
엄마한테도 이제 빚이 많으니까 조금씩 한 10만 원, 15만 원씩이라도 드릴 수 있을 만큼 드리고
480.
이제 남는 건 사실상 거의
Yeah, that's like half of his monthly salary gone just paying off
But it's not
debt.
just young people drowning in debt. There's another group who are nearly 5 times more indebted than the general population.
Old people?
They make up a quarter of South Korea's workforce.
Old people?
The self-employed.
So old people,
And their
okay.
debt problems are about to get much worse. Bad enough to shake the economy.
At times of stress like this, obviously self-employed SMEs are the ones that get hit the most because they become cash-strapped.
South Korea's 6 million strong army of self-employed business owners make up 1/4 of its workforce. That's one of the highest.
This is actually one of the reasons why a lot of people want to visit South Korea. I was talking with one of my coworkers and she told me that she wants to visit South Korea particularly for their street food, where you can get like a whole bowl of like tteokbokki for like $2 and a drink. And these are all self-employed people driving around carts and stuff and these little trucks. and super convenient. Why? Because the Korean lifestyle is very, very fast. When you're working for these super giant conglomerate companies, you are sacrificing many, many hours in the day. So you don't have a lot of time to eat, or maybe, go to the grocery store, go home, cook your own food, because you need to go back to work in 9 hours. Right? So on the way home or on the way to work, you can buy one of these for $2. So there's a huge market for these self-employed people, but at the same time, because these conglomerate companies are having such a big control over all of these people, these self-employed people are at the mercy of what these companies want to do. And I think this was during the onset of the pandemic, in 2020, the COVID pandemic. So it's basically just a ticking time bomb.
And it's all because many employers are reluctant to retain older workers, with some setting a relatively young mandatory retirement age.
된다. 특히 자영업이다 이럴 경우엔 어떤 문제가 있냐면 대한민국 자영업자분들이 자기가 자영업을 하고 싶어서 하시는 게 아니라 근로소득 시장에서 밀려나서 어쩔 수 없이 하시는 분들이 많단 말이에요.
거기 부장님 좀 있으면 은퇴하시죠? 은퇴하시고 뭐 하신대요? 그러면 대부분 제가 답을 못해요. 혹시 얘기 술 마시면서 해보셨을 거라고. 닭집, 빵집, 커피숍, 편의점 넷 중에 하나죠. 그러면 거의 답이 맞아요.
In fact, chicken and beer shops are such a popular option among retirees that there are 87,000 of them in Korea. This is double the number of McDonald's restaurants.
I think some people might say that this is very wholesome. Oh, when you're retired, you can finally open up your own little restaurant and chill out and stuff like that. That is not the case. When it's portrayed like this is really sad. I want to retire and enjoy life, not start a business and then spend tens of thousands of dollars maintaining the business and trying to advertise my business so I make more money, so I earn a profit per month instead of losing money per month. Korea is just a never-ending life cycle of just working and sleeping. I feel like the people who have free time to party and hang out and stuff, those are the blessed people. Because it seems like the vast majority of Koreans don't have this.
Worldwide. More worrying, these small businesses usually don't qualify for bank loans.
The banks have been so conservative, starting from back in 1997, when the economic crisis hit. A lot of them went down and they had to be merged into new banks. So these banks, because they want to become more healthier and safer, they became more conservative. So the near-prime borrowers and the subprime borrowers didn't really have options to borrow money from a legitimate bank in Korea.
Near and subprime borrowers are those with average to very poor credit scores who are rejected by banks. Almost half of Korean adults fall into this group, including many small business owners. 70% of them land up taking loans from other lenders.
Like loan sharks.
High interest loans.
Like the 500% one that we just saw.
There are 3 tiers of lenders in South Korea. The first are regular commercial banks. They offer the lowest interest rates of about 2 to 5%. Next are non-bank financial institutions like insurance companies and credit card firms.
That's already actually that's
second-tier
oh
are
shit.
And range from 5 to 20%.
That's pushing it.
In the third tier are registered private money lenders.
Like loan
They
sharks.
charge even higher rates.
Probably like 30 or 50% at a
소상공인분들 같은
minimum.
경우에는 소득 신고를 제대로 못하다 보니까 은행에서 소외되는 경우도 많이 있거든요. 그 세무 기장을 단체로 맡겨버리시는데 그 세무사분들이 알아서 그냥 탈세를 해주신단 말이죠. 이분은 매출이 높고 소득이 있는데 세금 내역을 보니까 거의 소득이 없는 걸로 나오세요.
In the mid-2000s, banks shunned average to poor credit borrowers. This meant boom time for second and third tier lenders. with some private money lenders charging the maximum legal interest rates of 66%.
Fuck. Oh, dude, I'm only 23, but just hearing that, I don't have a credit card yet, but just hearing that makes the cortisol in my heart spike. I can't take this, dude.
In 2005, debt counselor Yang Jin-woo was then a branch manager for Sunwa Money, one of the largest private money lenders in South Korea. In 2018, Sunwa's revenue was some $1 billion a year.
그렇기 때문에 이제 그 당시는 대출 심사가 지금보다 굉장히 허술했었고, 그때 상황이는 사실 워낙 이자가 높다 보니까 고객 한두 명이 뭐 이제 돈을 안 갚는다 하더라도 크게 회사에서는 문제가 없었어요. 왜냐하면 나머지 10명 중에서 7명, 8명이 돈을 잘 갚아도 한두 명이 안 갚는 거를 충분히 상쇄를 했거든요.
Yoon Jin-sik had high hopes for his modest snack shop when he opened it in 2012. He pumped in $35,000 in savings, along with $20,000 worth of investment from a close friend. The funds went to his rental deposit and renovations. But in less than a year, he realized he needed extra funds.
어떤 돈들도 다 까먹고 갈수록 이제 계속 마이너스를 보니까 이게 뭐 한 달에 마이너스 100만 원부터 만약에 시작을 했다고 하면 나중에 한 달에 마이너스가 재료비까지 하면 한 500만 원씩 나더라고요. 이게 운영이 그리고 젊은 친구들이다 보니까 좀 많이 퍼줬어요. 제가 좀 많이 바보처럼 장사를 했습니다.
When Yoon couldn't borrow from a commercial bank because he had a poor credit rating, he was still able to borrow $13,000 from a few second-tier lenders at interest rates of around 28%.
So that's going to be
experiment with new food trends.
3640.
뭐 예를 들어서 그때 당시에 우리나라에 그 지팡이 아이스크림이라고 대유행을 했었는데요. 그걸 이제 울산에서는 제가 최초로 들고 왔었거든요. 근데 그 기계가 1,200만 원. 기계 한 달도 사용 못했습니다. 새로운 음식들도 또 시도를 해보고 뭐 이러면서 빚이 엄청나게 커지더라고요.
When Yoon couldn't pay back the $13,000 loan, and his monthly losses continued to stack up, he turned to his friends to haul him out of debt.
돈 빌리려고 많이 울었습니다. 정말 많이 울었습니다. 그 눈물이 가짜의 눈물이었습니다. 돈을 빌리기 위해서.
I mean, it's a fucked up thing to do, but you don't blame. I can't blame them. I said in the last video that Koreans are very selfish, and this only shows you how selfish they can be. They will manipulate your friends and family so they can get money. Whether that's to look pretty, have the latest phone, or just to pay back debt because of their stupid decisions.
가족들 전화하면 우는 거예요. 진짜 죽을 것 같다.
He would say that he's about to die.
그리고 참 치사한 놈이 카카오톡을 일부러 새벽 3시, 4시에 보냅니다.
This is basically him just saying, I can't live anymore.
이 친구들이 아침에 일어나서 보고 좀 놀래라고. 진식이 이러다 죽는다. 이런 걸 느끼라고.
Master manipulator at work.
Because try as he might, he couldn't get more loans. After 2012, to clamp down on lax lending practices, the government tightened lending rules and maximum interest rates at second and third tier lenders. But the stricter the government was on the formal lending sector, the faster the informal sector thrived.
이자를 낮췄을 때 문제가 등록 대부업체에서 대출을 거부했을 경우에는 더 이상 내려갈 데가 여기밖에 없는 거거든요.
There's nowhere to go but down. If the top yeah, exactly. There's nowhere to go but down. If these top banks and these mutual credit unions are not going to give you money, the only place to go is to these loan sharks. and they're going to charge you 500% interest rate, and you need to take it because your business is failing and you want to save it, but it's not going to work. So you spiral until you have to resort to being selfish and manipulating your friends and family so they can essentially pay up for your stupid mistakes. Kind of like a certain addicted gambler on Twitch who
his friend's goodwill. And his mother sold her only gold jewelry to help him. Desperate, he finally turned to a loan shark.
그러니까 이거 이자가 뭐고 안 보인다니까요. 돈이 급하면 아무것도 안 보입니다. 40%고 뭐고 돈만 빌려주면 최고죠.
But this 40% was for a 2-month loan, with payments due daily. Over 1 year, Yun took out $15,000 in loans and paid back $36,000 in interest.
일수는 또 일수대로 내야 되고 버는 돈은 없고 계속 하루하루 그랬죠. 한 3년 정도 쓴 것 같고요. 3년 정도 쓴 것 같고. 그러니까 제가 계산을 보면 한 300만 원 스타트였는데 제가 갚은 돈이 한 2억 정도 되는 것 같아요. 일수로 갚은 돈이.
Undercover Asia managed to secure an interview with a former loan shark, Kim Min-soo. He was a loan shark for 5 years. To get new clients, Kim used to distribute business cards from his motorbike.
Yeah, big bright red text. Quick money.
Over the last few years, as Korea's economy posted its lowest growth in a decade, dragged by weak exports.
그게 딱 뉴스를 보고 하다 보면은 그 분위기를 딱 보잖아요. 전체적 경기가 점점 더 안 좋아지고 전화 문의가 엄청 많이 와요. 대출이 저희가 나갈 수 없는 사람들, 뭐 직장인, 뭐 택시기사, 뭐 식당 이모, 별의별 사람들이 엄청 많이 연락이 와요.
But Kim also found it more difficult to chase payments as the economy soured. Loan sharks like Kim become detectives, checking mailboxes and gas meters to see if a lender is hiding at home. But one of the most effective ways to recover money was to appeal to the borrower's sense of shame.
여자친구 알아? 또 주변 사람들이 알아? 이거를 제일 크게 두려워하죠. 매출이 이렇게 되는데.
Selfishness again and again. He's being selfish. He knows how to be selfish. Okay. Being selfish is a skill. It really is. You know how to get what you want, and this guy knows how to make people feel like shit in order to get them to pay back the debt.
알맹이는 뒷덩이였잖아요. 그런 거를 남한테 들키기 싫은 분들이 되게 많죠. 주변 사람들의 시선.
Again, you see that image.
가가지고 맨 처음에 이제 구두로 얘기하고 가서 또 의학 주고 아까 뭐 식당 같은 경우는 가서 쳐다보고 있고 앉아 있고 그렇게 불편하게 하고 하도 이제 안 되면 이제 가족 건드는 거죠. 자녀들 왔다 갔다 하는 거 얼굴 외워가지고.
Oh wow. Oh shit. Oh my god.
보내고 정리할까 이런 식으로 유치원으로 갈까?
Oh dude, that is terrifying.
In 2019,
nearly
half of South Korean small and medium enterprises didn't earn enough to cover their interest payments. And default rates among the self-employed jumped 30% from 2014. Yoon Jin-sik's food business lasted 4 years, 2 years longer than the average.
이게 사실 집계가 잘 안 돼요. 집계가 잘 안 되지만 매해 50만의 자영업자가 들어왔다 나갔다 합니다. 거기에다가는 이제 50만이 망해서 나갈 때 이 사람들 망해서 나간 거기 때문에 돈을 못 갚는 거예요. 그럼 그럼 은행에 또 문제가 생기는 거죠.
In fact, almost a quarter of all new businesses close within a year. On top of the punishing loan repayment cycles, making things worse for small business owners is the recent property bubble that's led to higher rent and forced evictions. Yun Kyung-ja and her husband ran a pig trotter business in downtown Seoul for 4 years, in this very shop space.
그러니까 내가 열심히 노력해서 돈을 벌면 앞으로 내가 좀만 더 힘들어도 나중에 잘 살 수 있을 거라는 그런 꿈들이 있었죠. 그 당시에는 다 사람들이.
But that dream turned into a nightmare.
You know what, dude? I'm actually gonna stop it here because again, I told you guys that I've watched this video already. Basically, what ends up happening is the fact that they couldn't pay off their debts, and because the building got a new owner, he wanted to quadruple this couple's rent, which was just outrageous. They couldn't pay it. They went into public outrage. And that one guy that we met earlier who was living in that really shitty apartment with his pet cat, he declared bankruptcy, and then he ended up defaulting on his payments, and he's now working as like a part-time job as a part-timer at this like local convenience store, like a GS25, which is basically like a 7-Eleven. But since the pandemic happened, he couldn't do that anymore because the owner wants to save money, so he would fire some people. Okay, like even though we watched just 2 videos, I'm gonna be honest, I think it's already pretty solid from what we've seen that basically every single narrative that we've seen when it comes to how Korea has become this economic powerhouse, to how the average Korean citizen lives, it's all connecting back towards the top. These big companies are able to control its people, get away with crimes such as poor working conditions that leads to their employees' debts, and that leaves other people, like students, desiring to rise above that while still working towards that company because it's their dream, because the salary is like doubled and their welfare benefits are really fucking good, right? And so these people work very, very hard because they want to obtain the image that they want, which is why during their time in college, they end up spending a fuck ton of money to look good, and then they end up not being able to maintain it, and then they have to turn to these banks, and when they get turned away from the banks, they have to go to these loan sharks, and this debt keeps on piling up. Because this isn't really like, because the culture is so ingrained that you need to be like everyone else, you need to dress like everyone else, and that's very, very important. So that's basically what I talked about. I know that today's stream was a bit heavy, but I think it's pretty interesting. I'll try to do a more fun one tomorrow. And I know this is weird for me because, frankly, I'm not talking to anybody. But I'm just going to work on my presentation and communication skills. But that's basically it. I'm Korean American, but whatever. That's like another conversation. But sooner or later, I hope to have like a balance between talking about this type of content and doing like entertaining content. But yeah, that's basically it. Okay, that's the end of the stream. Thanks. I'll be back tomorrow, same time. My work hours are the same. I will start doing the punishment wheel for that one challenge that I'm going to do tomorrow, so that should be fun. And that'll be pretty much it. All right, cool. Thank you. Goodbye.